is I think we need to get off this elitist fucking hill. Ooh, I got shiny forehead syndrome. Let's see if I can do something about that. I think that's a little better. Who knows? As software engineers, we need to get off this fucking moral superiority complex or whatever the fuck that people have about vibe coding apps. Because we used to have really low fidelity prototypes. Prototypes went from at one point being like, you know, paper mock-ups. I remember seeing this in videos. People used to make like little paper phones and then have like a long strip of like the different screens, and they would pull that through to fucking demo the app. Now we can go to Lovable or Base 44 or whatever fucking one you want and go, I have this idea, and then it can make something for you, and then that's the same fucking equivalent to this paper prototype. No one at the end of the day expects this paper prototype or this Lovable vibe-coded app to make it to production. Any good founder will understand and admit that they are not an engineer unless they are an engineer, and will go, that's fine, okay, here's my prototype, this is what I want to build, but as you hand it over to engineers, just allow them to rebuild it from scratch. Don't get caught up on your idea. Your vibe-coded app is not great. A software engineer vibe coding is very different to you vibe coding, and that's not from a moral superiority, that's not from some sort of superiority complex or anything, right? That's simply from the difference in understanding and experience in working in that domain. The same way that, yeah, I could get an AI to help me write, like, I don't know, medical essays. Would I know if they're true, accurate, and valid? No, I'd have no fucking clue. But I can get it to generate me a fuckload of code, and I can validate and know that that is true and good code. Because I've written enough code at this point. It takes care of all the mundane work, allowing me to go cognitively to the higher order stuff, right? I don't have to focus on all of this boilerplate bullshit. I can focus on ideation, testing, systems, and architecture. Really fucking wonderful. But back to these like vibe coding prototypes, right? I don't understand all of these software engineers that come into the comments all the time and go, oh, well, that's not going to be in production. Oh, well, you can't learn vibe coding in a weekend. Bro, no one's actually trying to learn to code. They just want to build prototypes. You know, it's probably those same fucking engineers are the same ones that work some corporate dead-end job or don't really do anything with themselves because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to build that prototype. They'll spend 10 fucking years on some... Check this out. Ah, there was a tui bird there, which is a native bird in New Zealand. They sometimes come in and drink the nectar here. You know, these fucking software engineers, these no good, no lives, oh, I'm better than you because I don't write anything with a vibe coding thing, and your vibe coding app's never going to go anywhere, but my hyper-scaling app with 0 users is really fucking good at scale and it's perfectly architected. No one gives a fuck. Honestly, no one gives a fuck. If you don't have users, who cares if your app scales to 50 million people? It needs to scale to 1 first. And for 1 customer, you don't need anything fancy. For 100 customers, you don't need anything fancy. It's only when you get into the big scale that you need something fancy, and that is a really good problem to have. If you get to the point where you're like, oh fuck, my stack isn't scaling with the amount of users I have, what are you complaining about at that point? At that point, you can build all of the scaling in. At that point, you have the resources to do that as well. Prior to that, you're just wasting your fucking time. So even as a software engineer, use Lovable, use Base 44, use these vibe coding tools to just ideate. Because you can still go back later and go, okay, sweet, now that I have this prototype and I know this idea is good, let me build it properly. But you don't have to build something properly and waste your fucking time if you don't know that the idea is actually any good, if anybody actually gives a shit about the idea. So as software engineers, please stop shitting on people for using vibe coding tools. I think anyone who is smart enough to ideate and run through business processes and actually figure out if an idea is valid and worth it will hopefully not launch with a purely lovable vibe-coded app. And if they do, fine. They'll fail on their own. You don't need to tell them anything. And they'll fail and they'll learn and they'll try again because unlike you who's sad and sitting in comments telling people how great your hyperscaling app is and that their fucking lovable prototype will never scale, they're out there actually doing something. Go do something. These prototyping tools are amazing. They're really fucking good. They're great at figuring out if an idea is worth it, whether or not, like, the idea in your mind, if you translate it into something you use, you can click around a couple of times. If it's functional to the extent where you can interact with it, you can very quickly for yourself even realize, oh, well, this is kind of shit, and move on. Engineers, man. I've had to get myself out of this mindset of, oh, I have to make everything fucking great and perfect and whatever, and over-engineering it. As engineers, that's great. We love doing that. That's why we're engineers. But a prototype isn't that. Right? Like, we're called in when it comes time to scale, when it comes time to really build the fucking thing. But a founder will not pay you as a developer any fucking money if they don't know that their idea is any good. And they need to know their idea is good. The best way to do that is with a prototype. So please, 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 software engineers, stop fucking doing this. Get a life. For lack of a better way to put it, get a life. Go do something with yourself. If you come into comment sections to act miserable about the fact that vibe coding tools are being pushed as hard as they are, there's a reason they exist. We started with paper prototypes, we went to things like Adobe XD, now we have things like Figma, and the natural evolution of that is actually functional prototypes instead. Stop being a miserable fucking person and just go build stuff, and you'll realize how valuable these prototyping tools are.